I've got five whole pictures for this evening.
Yeah.
For a 2.5 hour picture.
2 hours, 25 minutes, including credits.
Including credits.
Con?
This movie is my con. It really is. And I don't mean that in like a, con
In a
sort
good
of
way.
Yeah, not in the fun sort of way from The Shadow. No. No, this is my God damn, I hate this movie.
And that is what we are doing on this episode of 0 Point Reviews. Yep, everybody. Alien 3, bitches. We're going all out for this one because on 0 Point Reviews, there's absolutely no point to review this movie, but there is. No points are given, but none are also taken, but yet they are as well. So thank you for joining us on 0 Point Reviews. Kevin, I originally saw the theatrical version in the theater. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. And it wasn't until the special edition came out years later that I saw the assembly cut, basically, or kind of / director's cut. It's still not David Fincher's full-on director cut. I don't think we'll ever quite get that. But I do feel like because I'm going to just go ahead and get right to it. I like the special edition. I don't like the theatrical. There's so much idiocy in both versions. It's kind of hard to really say which one's better. It's just the special edition one does make more sense. It does give a little bit more context to characters and some subplots. Whether they were completely necessary to the story or not is another question, but they do make you feel like you actually watched a coherent movie as opposed to something that got thrown into a blender and, hey, let's make the alien come out of a dog.
Yeah. Let me get out of his way real quick. This is as close as I'm going to show that scene for the most part. Because
is this from Robot Chicken, or is this from something else?
This is NECA. These are actual NECA figures.
No shit.
Yeah, they did the dog as well as the two bull aliens.
I didn't know that. I don't have any like NECA figures. My NECA collection is mostly like Evil Dead, Halloween, and a couple Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I've got the Ash that you sent me, and a wish list of Gremlins that I need to go back and collect. So,
ooh, nice.
Not like Skeets that wants to get the $500 ET, life-size ET.
Oh God, yeah, Skeets. Hey, what we'll do is we'll get all the Alien figures. We'll get an ET figure. We'll make our own version of Alien 3, where ET is the creature that comes out of the ox and starts killing everybody in sight.
That would be cool. Well, because I mean, yeah, they showed in the special edition, it comes out of an ox, and that's much easier on the eyes because the ox was dead. Yeah. So that was even easier for people like Peta. But the thing comes out moving like a dog. Yeah. And so I'm like, well, that's not even remotely, not obvious. Got ahead of myself on that one. Like that part didn't look bad, where the xenomorph, the baby pops out and starts walking away like a dog would, or starts kind of trotting away. That looked really neat. But the further it went on, the worse the thing looked. And God damn, it was just an eyesore. By the time it got here, where you finally get to see it, which is like 3/4 of the way through the special edition, it's so very noticeably CGI, where you're just kind of like, why would you have done that? And I get why Fox did it. Fox had everything riding on this movie. They didn't make a whole lot making money back that year in films, so everything was really riding on Alien 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they fucked with it. They fucked with it. They fucked with it, and they fucked with it through 3 directors, maybe 4. I don't remember at this point. No script at all. Like they were making shit up as they went along. everything that had been in place before got tossed right the fuck out the window.
Pretty
That got
much.
them in legal trouble with some of the previous cast members, which frankly, I support them. I'll just flat out say it. Michael Biehn got screwed, and if he would have had to go through and sue them, he would have gotten everything that he had coming to him because they fucked him out of that role. Sigourney Weaver fucked him out of that role.
Everybody got fucked out of that role.
Here's my takeaway from watching these special features and then just looking back at reading all the articles from like Ghostbusters and Aliens and any other.
And I've seen these before myself, but it has been a while. Kevin's more fresh on the details with this. That's why I'm letting him kind of talk about this right now.
Yeah, I have like a fresh hate that's never gone away, like ever.
That's
she never wants to do movies like this. She never wants to do sequels because she's an artist. She moves beyond that.
She must come from the Jamie Lee Curtis school of filmmaking.
Yes, she does. So what ends up happening is Fox will say, well, how about this much money? And she's like, that sounds nice.
How about this much money?
Mm-hmm. And she'll say, well, that still sounds nice. But frankly, I don't, the way you've written Ripley here is fucking ridiculous. I wouldn't do this at all. Okay, well, how about this much money and creative control?
and another stack of money if you actually stay through the completion of this shooting schedule.
Which she may or may not have. It kind of ended on a stupid ass note.
Oh my God.
So she got creative control, and she did not like the direction that Aliens ended. It ended with Ripley having a family, basically. She lost everything, but then she kind of gained it back. And she didn't believe that that was Ripley's lot in life. And okay, I kind of get that. Ripley,
I kind of get that too. I do agree with that, actually.
Yeah, she's not a bad motherfucker. She just handles things as they come to her.
Right.
And she's in a way like Ash. She doesn't back down. She's reactionary.
Right.
But she doesn't have a family. She doesn't have a support system. She's always kind of on her own.
Like her support system continually gets taken from her, and she builds her strength from not having that around. So the strength comes more from within than from people lifting you up and trying to support you as a unit. It shows incredible courage and incredible strength on her inner person as opposed to a group. So
yes. Now, that having been said, to turn around and say, oh, yeah, but we're going to write out Michael Biehn and we're going to write out Newt, even though...
screw them.
Yeah, so their careers went... with the exception of, say, like, Tombstone, which came out the following year.
Good on Michael Biehn. He went for a better movie anyway.
Oh, fucking A. Like, he was so
Michael, don't feel bad, bro. You got a better movie.
He's again, watch the special features. The special features to Alien 3 have everything to love about Alien movies that's not in Alien 3. I have never seen anything like it. It starts out...
It is fucking wild.
Yeah, it starts out with fucking... Who was it? Vince, what was his last name? Ward? The original director and story writer?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, saying... this is the low point in my career. And it's not like a depression thing.
But it's just a statement of fact.
Yeah. This is the worst thing I've ever worked on. This is the worst time I've ever had making a film. And it starts out this way. Like this statement sets the tone for the entire duration of this documentary. And it starts out with talking about regret. This entire movie was a fucking regret. I regret seeing it. The only reason why I bought it is because it's in this beautiful quadrilogy case.
Yeah.
They took everything you love from the first two movies and they throw it right out the window.
Oh, they cherry picked an idea here or there just to kind of keep things a little consistent, but it can't be too consistent because then, goddamn, You're going up against the 1-2 greatness of Alien and Aliens.
Yes, but everything that they tried to do to compete with it was just low-level trite. And I get it. Fox was trying to like not pay anyone for nothing. They didn't want to make anything extra. Like they were trying to capitalize maximum return on this feature.
Dude, they were saving money up for the Star Wars special editions and the eventual prequels. Like, dude, this isn't rocket science. They had the money had to come from something, so let's just pillage from the corpse of Alien right now because Cameron didn't want to come back. Then they screw over half the cast. It's like, you know what? Screw that. We got some neat ideas for what we could do for Alien 3, but you know what? Every time we think we're on the right track, we're just gonna say kick that shit to the curb, and eventually we'll get a director that'll just fucking do what we tell him to do, and then we'll fire him just before the end, and we'll take it from there. Poor David Fincher's probably still has like PTSD from this fucking movie. Poor guy. Anybody brings this fucking movie up to him, you can see the glossing over in the eyes of, oh, not this shit again. It's like you couldn't pay that man enough to come back to try and fix this shit for a director's cut that he probably doesn't even want to do at this point. He's almost like David Lynch for Doom. Like, fuck that. I did my movie. I did my time. I am past that. It could stay in the past. Fucking bury that shit 20 feet under. Now,
well, yeah.
I mean, I know you hate this movie. I kind of like it. I have this weird like relationship with like Alien 3. The theatrical version I think is an utter train wreck and trash heap. But I kind of dig some elements of the story and some of the things in this, like the planet setting in a mining colony. Like I feel like this is where Dead Space got a little idea from. Like, hey, mining colony, let's do plasma cutters. Let's get a little more into these aspects, which would have been super fucking cool if they had weapons on this planet. Or they could do real mining tools as weapons. That would have been fun. That would have been nice. No, we're working with like peaceful prisoners who have found God. Except for a couple fucking whack chops. I mean, so I like the setting. The sets are gorgeous. I love the big feel of it, but it just felt like a bit unnecessary. So like,
sure,
I'll say like, I like the sets. I love the setting. You know, I love the music. The music's fine. I don't know. I really didn't catch who the composer was this time around because my mind was like all over the place with this movie again. Trying to write down notes, trying to not get mad, but also trying to remember, hey, Charles Dance is in this fucking movie. Hey, Dutton's in this movie too. Two wonderfully awesome actors, and they do pretty good, but they don't have much for roles. And then they fucking killed Dutton at the end.
They kill everybody.
Long story short, I like the special edition. I don't love it though.
Pete Postlethwaite is in this. Has like 2 speaking lines and then is killed.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. It's like, Jesus Christ, who you had on this movie? This would have been a fucking dope movie if you had reined in your script and just stuck with one fucking director.
The guy who plays Mr. Aaron is Dell from Wayne's World 2. The guy that had to beat the fucking candy shop owner and his son with their own shoes.
People are morons.
But that's a different story altogether.
Yeah.
This thing was a goddamn mess. And I remember my godbrother Mikey always telling me they didn't have a script. I'm like, well, fucking I believe that. But
they had a script. They just kept throwing it out the window and rewriting it all the fucking time. So they didn't have like one coherent script. I'm willing to bet Sigourney Weaver got that one script and she's like, fix this, fix that, fix this, fix that. But then when they actually got on set, it's like, what the fuck? You didn't fix anything I wanted you to do. Everything else has changed, but what I asked you to fix. Shit.
Well, according to this documentary, like she asked Fincher, like, you know, how do you see Ripley in this movie? And he's like,
dead bitch.
I don't know. bald? And she's like, I like him. And I'm like, how fucking cool is that? Like,
This was not a gig he really wanted, unfortunately.
No, this was his first feature film. So I mean, hooray. And he'd worked with much bigger bitches previous to this, I'm sure.
Yes, he had. And afterwards too.
George Michael. Who, God rest his soul, is one of my favorites. But anyway, yeah, Fincher, fucking Fincher, got me so embarrassed. 2 years ago, I want to say, on the last Mystery Science Theater tour, the cast had come out in the Q&A during the VIP thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't ask any questions. I know everybody. They're my friends. I was just sitting there to, sit and chat and smile and see my friends.
Yeah. And
they were making a comment that Kelsey's least favorite movie is Seven. And Nate joked at me and says, Kevin loves Seven. He's like, I already know he loves that movie. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I mean, all things considered with fucking Schumacher. And they start talking and Nate goes, wait, what? So didn't Schumacher direct that? No, I'm pretty sure that was David Fincher. I thought it was Schumacher. Phone beeps. Nope. I'm going to shut the fuck right up here and sit down in my chair.
That'll learn you.
Kinda. And then Nate was super excited. He's like, I got Kevin in public. It's like, you fucker. I am blessed to know such famous ass people and talented people, but God, am I a fucking dipshit when it comes to the foot and mouth disease. I swear to God.
Yeah, that's why you're on this show.
That's true too. But anyway, I digress really hard. You talked about Dutton being in this.
Oh my God, he was so good, but his character was so uneven, it felt like.
Well, that's the problem with this cast. It was an ensemble cast that had like 4 people too many.
Yeah, there was about 30 people.
Yeah, they were all...
I mean, you need a body count, but Jesus Christ.
There was really 2 black guys, and the rest were all white bald guys. Kind of hard.
One of the black guys is a peaceful.
Yeah, was super peaceful, but was built like a brick shit house. The guy was obviously Rock. It's Charles S. Dutton, and if you grew up in the 80s and 90s, you know him as Rock. But when you got to this close-up here, you're like, fuck! And especially if you saw this in the theater, that is the biggest, blackest dick that has ever been on the TV screen or the big silver screen before that didn't involve the XXX feature. Sling.
But you knew that.
But you knew that. It should have been called Sling because it was holding the rocks. But anyway.
Would have been great to see him and Larry Fishburne together in this movie.
Yes. I love Charles Dutton. Kidding aside and rock jokes aside, I don't really have rock jokes because I loved the show. I watched it religiously.
Oh yeah.
Way the fuck better than Martin. Anyway, well, and he was fun in this, but the thing is, there was too many guys.
Right.
There was the doctor, there was the superintendent, there was Mr. Aarons.
You're missing 40 other people.
Yeah, Golic, the guy that was crazy as a shithouse rat that thought that the alien was the great red dragon.
Yep.
Which was interesting. He started worshiping the alien and killing off his friends or wiping out his
letting the
friends.
fucking thing back out after they had it fucking trapped. Yet it's guarded by one fucking dude.
One dude, yeah, that gave he was a good guard.
We're all fucking criminals here. You're really gonna trust one person to guard the damn thing?
Kinda. But really, who would you think would want to let that thing out? Oh, that's right, Golic, the crazy
complete
guy.
psycho. Yeah. that they had locked and chained up, but because I gave you cigarettes, you can let me out of my chains. I'll be a good boy. Okay, you let me out of the chains. You're dead.
Yeah, right. Clocks the guy over the fucking head, and then like, what was it? Slits the other guy's throat. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like,
I mean, it's fucking 93. You'd think by now in movies they would have gotten away from the stupidity of the 80s horror movies, you know, where it's like, can a little common sense come into play here?
they tried. I'd say that they
They
tried.
didn't try hard enough, Kevin.
No, they didn't. They didn't. And just like the horror elements that they tried putting in here, because there's no horror and it's just really not scary, they try utilizing religion as a crutch.
Yeah, that I didn't think that worked for me or the movie.
No, like, okay,
not to say you can't have it in there, it didn't fit the story like at all.
No, and see, here's the thing: they tried to use religion as a tool, as terror, or as a substitute for terror,
right?
Terror light with NutraSweet, if you will. And you know, so you've got all these guys, these born agains, for lack of a better term, that are all murderers and rapists. They haven't seen a woman in God knows how long, and now here's one put in front of them. So their faith is being tested, and they don't actually have resolve when it comes to the temptation being right in front of them. I'm zero pointing because I'm trying to think, how do I not say the R word? Like, it's really prevalent that like they try to get in Ripley's pants throughout the entire.
They force themselves upon her, and Charles Dutton actually interrupts it and beats the shit out of them with like this giant wrench or whatever it is, or a piece of metal from the shipwreck. So
yeah,
I mean,
and at that point it's like he's kind of asking them, or she's wanting to ask them, what would Jesus say? You know, if you're so religious, what would Jesus say? And I'm sure that the great answer, or the best answer that the rapist could have given was, I forgive you, and start doing his business. That would have been terrifying and disturbing. They didn't really do that. It was kind of cheap and lazy and just kind of felt like the rest of the movie. At that point, it felt unnecessary. Like they'd been trying to get her for so long, it didn't need to happen at that point.
Right. If it was going to happen, it would have happened a whole lot sooner. Like this is part of the larger issue with the writing of this particular movie is pacing, plotting out certain events.
I think I just lost my Jeff.
Here.
Nope, there you are.
But, so, you know, trimmed down. I'm right here.
There you are. You're going in and out. Am I doing the same thing?
Yeah.
Dadgummit. Well, I heard most of what you said, and I agree with you.
Good to know.
I heard all except
all I can say about all that is
fuck this ship. So
yeah,
I've talked a bit about the dogs and how the alien was supposed to have come out of a dog. Very much is a dog, even though we see the ox. I promised I wasn't going to show it coming out of the dog. I lied. This is our show. We don't hide anything. Here's the dog coming out of the alien. Terrifying.
It's
absolutely
the best looking German. That's a greyhound.
Yeah. What a cutie pie, though.
It's a Brindle one too.
This is what the alien was going to look like. This is what it was supposed to be, and they were going to have practical effects. This, however, is what it ended up being.
The CGI is so fucking bad in this movie.
It's extremely off-putting. They had the head as a practical effect on another 7-foot tall dude, like they did in the original movie. but you don't see him moving around at all. You just see the head. So the dog, they make fun of it. Like, can you believe David Fincher almost did that? It's like, I can't believe he didn't. Like, that looked way cooler.
Yeah.
And kind of gives you that factor until it fucking tears your throat out.
Right.
Why not have that be part of the fun?
Well, at least give him credit on the suit. Like, the practical effects with the alien, for the most part, were actually pretty good. It's when they did any sort of like CGI with it. Talk about bad 90s like CGI. Like, it's so bad. It doesn't look right. And what also didn't help a lot was the Foley sound effects for some of the killings and the deaths was just like silence. Like, what the hell is going on? You could clearly see the damn thing munching on somebody. What the fuck? You can't give me a breaking bone or it's sounding like an animal tearing flesh apart. Like, come on.
Walnut shell cracking, something?
Like anything. It was so fucking quiet. I'm like, what the hell is happening with this movie? I didn't even remember that when I was watching this time. Just like, God damn, there are issues with this fucking movie. I mean, when we get to Resurrection, I got a bigger problem with that fucking movie more than I got with this one. Both are shit shows. But I for some goddamn reason, I like this third one, but I only like the special edition.
So strange. So strange. I mean, I didn't want to watch either. Well, obviously I didn't want to watch either, but I didn't want to watch both versions. I wanted to pick just one.
Yeah.
And I remained consistent with the director's cut. So
yeah.
I don't know if there is a director's cut for next week. Is there?
That's an excellent question. Okay. Then I will be watching that as well, because the first two movies I stuck to theatricals and I didn't do directors. Now I'm doing directors because of basically the history of these next coming movies are just all over the map.
Yeah.
Joss Whedon, you're up next, bro.
His career's gonna go places. He's gonna wait. Never mind.
He's gonna get canceled, and his shows are all gonna get canceled.
Fuck that guy. Anyway,
we did get some good shows from him. I'm making jokes.
I'm not. The guy's a fucking d-bag. I mean, well, if you treat people
nobody
like
ever said he wasn't. Especially him.
I want to say to a large degree, all directors are d-bags because they have to get what they want right then and there. They're on a schedule. That's just the way that they make their fucking job. They can't pussyfoot around shit. So I get that.
Some are more Stanley Kubrick. Some are more Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg. Don't terrorize the kids just yet.
Wait.
I like William Friedkin, so
nothing wrong with that.
No. But this movie, it was rushed, it was forced, it was really unnecessary, and I wish it was just like retconned. Like Alien and Aliens is a perfect little like 1-2 punch, kind of like Terminator and Terminator 2. Predator and Predator 2.
Yep.
Same deal. And Predator 2 came out shortly after this, where you're kind of like, well, gosh, Alien vs. Predator was a great comic book. Alien 3 was shit. Predator 2 was pretty cool. What the fuck is wrong with...
And Predator 2 put an alien skull on the ship.
Mm-hmm. And that blew everybody's fucking head away. And the leader of the Predators was Broken Tusk from the comic books.
Yep.
So...
I like those comic. That's one of those rare series I checked out, but man, this is definitely where the film franchise for Alien started to hit the derail button.
They were like, you know what? Fuck it. I
mean, James Cameron didn't want it back. Nobody wanted it back except for Sigourney with an open paycheck.
I can't begrudge her that. I really can't.
No, if you
I
can
do.
if you
but
can negotiate that kind of money and hey, have at it. It's show
Twice.
business. It's not show fronts.
Yeah, no shit. But she did that to them twice. That's what's amazing.
Well, yeah, and then Jamie Lee Curtis has done the same thing with the Halloween movies. Oh, I'm not going to come back again. I've done this one. I'll be fine. Yes. So, how many sequels have you done? Like about 6 out of 10? Jesus Christ.
Is it 6?
Halloween 1, Halloween 2, Halloween H2O, Halloween Resurrection, then the new trilogy.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't really thinking about those.
Yep, I call that the Jamie Lee Curtis rule. I'm not going to come back unless there's an open paycheck.
Well, if there's a steady paycheck involved, I'll believe anything you say.
Yep,
I
would too.
Burps. Sorry.
Well, better indigestion with you than with this movie because what it hacked up in the end. And because at least in the theatrical version, they show the alien trying to come out of Ripley's body when she jumps off the cliff into the molten lava and furnace.
Doesn't
in the
she
special
like grab
edition,
it?
she doesn't. She just descends right into the cloud. And poof.
Huh.
As Lance Henriksen is doing his best acting job in years. No!
with the ear hanging off the side of his head.
Because he's the live version. I designed that model.
Which is funny because I thought this took place like another 200 years after the fact again. No,
It
apparently
very well
it was
could
like
have, but it doesn't.
No, it's like the next day.
Yeah, it's like within a couple of days or a week or something
hours.
like that.
Yeah,
maybe that's why they shaved her head off, because her previous acting gig had her grow it out too long. Got to make her look young again.
Well, that having been said, I did have a final thought for this movie. Someone brought to my attention that when Alien came out, okay, remember the jiggly butt joke that we made where it shows basically her panties and you can see her butt crack, and there was nothing left to the imagination. Apparently, someone famously shouted out in the movie theater in New York when it first came out, "That bitch ain't got no ass."
Oh, yeah, you did mention that the last week. Yeah.
I take offense to that, but it is true. That having been said, so...
That's a guy who was clearly a butt guy.
This movie is truly as stupid as it is fucking long. And the worst part of it all is they
still ain't got that ass.
They got a body double with no ass. At least they were consistent on that.
And that's Charles Dance, everybody, in that picture behind Jerry Springfield. You would know him from Game of Thrones as Tywin Lannister. You would also know him from a bunch of other things because he's been doing a few things ever since then. But
yeah, he was pretty great in this. I do like him. Everybody was pretty great in this, except
but they fucking killed him about like halfway into the movie. I'm like, okay, you had something interesting there, and then you just fucking kill him.
There's too many supporting guys. He dies. Rock dies. Aaron dies. Then
hey, we got to put 20 more minutes in here. Then he dies. Then they die. Okay, we got another 20 minutes to fill out. Okay, that person dies. That person dies.
Guy dies. We don't even know if Guy has a fucking last name like on Galaxy Quest. Just that
guy number 11. I mean, Jesus Christ. Let's go.
This is a horrible movie. Save yourself the time. Listen to this.
But keep watching our video. We're trying to get our watch time up.
Well, yeah, of course. This is a hell of a lot better than that. And it's also unscripted.
That's right, bitch. He ain't got no ass.
No, not anymore. But I gotta say, this is probably gonna be the last time I ever watch this movie, unless my kids want to watch it one day.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it again whenever I get the hankering to go through the Alien franchise. And usually I'll just, because I've started, it's like, okay, once I've watched Aliens, with James Cameron. Then I start rolling through Alien 3, Alien 4, and then I abruptly stop because it's like, man, I'm fucking sick of fucking Alien at this point. I have Alien versus Predator. I think I've only watched that once since I got the Blu-ray like years ago. And I'm like, man, both of these are kind of crap too.
Well,
And I mean, if I really want more Alien, I'm going to go fire up Alien Isolation, the video game. And depending on what happens with Alien Romulus coming up, probably check that out. Because that's more between Alien and Aliens. So we'll see.
I want to say with Fide involved, it's going to be great. But with Fincher involved, it's going to be great, right?
We will see. I've heard things about the movie, whether confirmed, they're not confirmed. But we'll see what we end up getting. It sounds like it's going to be interesting and it might be pretty good, but I'm not exactly convinced. So, but I'm open. The trailer looked great. We'll see what happens, but I'm enjoying Alien Isolation. You know, I like my Dead Space. It's funny, like Alien 3 reminds me a little bit of like Dead Space 3, just a little bit. And like, hey, Dead Space 1 and 2 are great. Alien 1 and 2 are great. Once you hit the third one, man, quit messing with the formula. Leave it the fuck alone.
That's why I didn't play Dead Space 3. Not ever, not a single once.
I played it so I could finish the story. And technically, if they just stopped here and never did Resurrection, I think eventually people would come around a little bit on Alien 3. Not to say that like they'd come around and say, hey, this is actually a great movie, but they'd come around and be like, hey, at least the trilogy ended. And they didn't keep trying to tarnish the legacy of this film franchise beyond this.
See, other than the campiness of part 4, I didn't hate it that much. Like Brad Dourif was in it, and that was enough for me.
It's been a long time since I've seen it, so I'll find out next week for me about that.
Well, I've watched that one a lot more than part 4. Actually, I guess I have seen it a lot. Huh. Well, I guess we'll figure that out. We will find out too.
But I don't think I've ever seen the director's cut of Alien Resurrection, so that should be interesting for me. Hopefully, it's a little bit of a better movie, and we're not getting my poor baby moments with Sigourney and the alien creature too much.
No, those are still there.
Fuck.
Sorry.
God damn it. All right, Kevin, any final thoughts? I know that everybody, this is a little bit of a briefer review, but there's really not much really to talk about with this movie other than the train wreck it was. The documentaries are almost the better thing to watch because they do mention like a couple neat ideas that wouldn't have worked, like a planet made out of wood, stuff like that. Like that was stupid idea, but interesting at least. But like they had a bunch of different ideas and you could have found like a good idea in there somewhere, but highly recommend everybody check out those documentaries and the extras because that's way more fascinating than this movie ended up being by itself. Like I said, I like the special edition. I don't love it. And I absolutely hate the theatrical version, but I like some of the cast. I like some moments out of this. And like, I love the practical effects. They all look fucking fantastic. And it's just a bit of a chore. It's a bit long. Stories all over the place. It's got issues, lots of issues. But that said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Tune in next week for Alien Resurrection. We're going to do the director's cut. So thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll see you all next time. Make sure you check us out on all of our social media platforms. We got Facebook, Twitter. We are at Suns and Shadows. We're also on Instagram at Suns and Shadows Cast. We are at SunsAndShadows.com. Thank you again, everybody, and we'll see you down the road.